When I was a child, I felt invincible, as most children do. We very rarely have any grasp of our own mortality. I could get bodied by much larger kids, smashed by an errant kickball, fall from high places onto my side into a ditch, get crushed by my brother, and somehow come out remarkably unscathed. If you were to ask some of the folks who knew me in my youth, they'd confirm the wild amount of stories about me regarding bodily harm. It almost became tradition that I would get hurt annually, but never seriously somehow. I always got back up. Perhaps a little bit worse for wear. I still have some visible scars on my arms and legs. I'm not quite as resilient anymore. These last few weeks have really worn on me. Especially on a personal note. But, as is with most scars, they aren't visible to the naked eye. I've been busy, though not to the same extent of my previous job. I've met so many different people from many walks of life and locations, learned countless things about my job, myself, and others, relived parts of my past, and, as always, I've had many thoughts on my mind. My friend Arcadia, whom I had the pleasure of meeting in early February, suggested I read this visual novel called Ripples. It is incredibly short, roughly 10 minutes or so if one chooses to listen to all the voice-acted lines, but it is an extremely concise experience. Located on the download page, there's a note from the writer detailing the purpose of Ripples, and how it came to be. You can read the note for yourself, but in essence, the writer explains that Ripples was created for her friend who was going through a rough time. The writer had no prior experience, but managed to create something meaningful. And perhaps it's not anything groundbreaking on an artistic, technical, philosophical, or musical medium. But it exists. I believe in the idea of creation and what a wonderful thing it is. That if someone creates something and shows it off to the world, they are participating in this complex construct that we call life. Putting our ideas in motion and creating things is a fundamental part of us as human beings. There's one part of Ripples that feels extraordinary to me. It was created for a friend with the simple purpose of encouragement. She could have sent him a simple message electronically or handwritten. Maybe she called him, maybe she spent some time in his company, but she felt compelled enough to make a visual novel to encourage him. And that's really a beautiful thing. I don't want to spoil the experience for you. I would highly recommend you play it yourself, but there's this particular quote towards the end of the story that I've thought about many days since I first experienced Ripples so long ago. Even if my life is just a single drop, every drop of water leaves ripples. The quote embedded itself into my consciousness. It's become a part of me now. There's this idea that the world would continue to function without us in it. And while that is true to some extent, that the waves crash on and the sun continues to rise and set, but missing the presence of someone whose drop of water sent ripples through my life would give me a wound that would undoubtedly take me some time to recover from, and a scar that would serve as a reminder to do better next time. One of my biggest regrets has to do with, he's probably a freshman in college by now, but a young boy whom I met once, a long time ago. When I was about to leave for college in my final summer of high school, I met a boy named Max. He wasn't particularly sociable, but I still managed to strike up conversation with him and helped him to feel welcome at church that Sunday. A few days later, my mother informed me that he would be attending a Friday night event at the church, and the driving factor in that decision was my interactions with him on Sunday. It made me feel good, and proud of the growth I'd made since my early days in high school. On that Friday, as was foretold to me, he showed up with his mother. I said hello to him before busying myself with some task or another while watching him at a distance as a few others spoke to him and invited him to play a game. He declined, probably due to the awkward nature of being new. It was soon after that a fellow student leader asked me why I was standing to the side and watching instead of talking to him. It's too awkward to try and hold a conversation with him while his mother is there, I replied. I'm waiting for her to go. And out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Max and his mother conversing. I heard some words that sent, and still, to this day, send ripples through me. Do you want to go? His mother asked. Yeah, came the one-word reply. And as I stood rooted to the ground, they turned, and they left. I never saw Max again. Perhaps, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't mean a lot. I highly doubt that Max has thought at all about that interaction in the years that have passed. But I did. And I do. And I imagine I will continue to. It made me want to be better for the strangers I'll meet and the people in my life. To not be restrained by fear, awkward vibes, or convention. To have it so no one else ever feels quite as lonely as I have. And currently do from time to time. That they would feel like when they spend time with me, or are in my presence, the loneliness inside of them might dissipate, even if it's merely temporary relief. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Can a person like that truly exist? I hope so. I've been taking an inventory of the sorts of ripples that have been sent through my life recently. My very, very short life, which is only a speck in the grand scheme of existence. Time, one of the most precious resources we have, is something we will never get back. What have you and I been worrying about in our day-to-day lives? What have we been spending our time doing? At the end of our lives, how many regrets will we have? We always think we have tomorrow. We always think that we have time to figure ourselves out, or that we'll see another sunrise and sunset. But that's, unfortunately, not how life is. Time reveals to us how big of a ripple others have left in our lives, but almost always in hindsight. Both cherished memories and painful regrets, they both leave a ripple. Do me a favor, and let that someone know. That someone who sent a beautiful ripple through your life. Tell them. To quote Porter Robinson, "Thanks for sticking with me when I was so lost, and when I thought that this was the way. Thanks for not listening to me when I told you to forget. Believe me, I'll be doing that too."